synthetic division to divide, and I'm going to do the same question. So P of x is 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5. And then d of x is equal to x plus 3. And I'm still going to ask you to write as P of x is d of x times q of x plus I. Right in terms of quotient plus the remainder. Okay, it's just different directions. So I could list up some steps for you for synthetic division, but it will only confuse you because the steps are really hard to explain. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a bunch of examples, so just pay close attention. Maybe the first one, don't write anything down until I finished it. Yeah, you had a question.
Do we have to use that one? Like, are you going to ask for us to do it on the test?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
So I will at some point ask you to do synthetic division, yeah. So you do have to know both. There will be a time where I ask you for long division. There will be a time where I ask you for synthetic division. It's a good question. So you do have to know both. But they get you to the same place in the end. Okay, so this is how you set it up. You do your division symbol upside down. For long division, we did it like this. For synthetic, you do it upside down. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do only the coefficients, no x's. Only the coefficients. So when I did the long divisions, my coefficient was 2, 7, 0, and negative 5. Am I right? You guys see those with coefficients? So now I'm going to deal with just those numbers. 2, 7, 0, negative 5. And leave some space between each one.
So we still need the 0.
Yes.
We need the transcending.
Descending order. Yeah. You still need descending order of degree. Yes. You still need that 0. And then here's the other thing we're going to do. For the divisor, I'm not going to use x's. For the divisor, I just have to think about what makes this 0. So what makes the divisor equal to 0?
-3.
So that's what goes on the outside. Really what you think about, if that's a +3, this is a -3. So the divisor is the opposite. So far, so good? That's just the setup. Then here's the steps for synthetic division. Instead of subtraction, we're going to do an addition, but we're still going to do a multiplication though as well. First step, you drop the first number down. Always. Just drop it down. First number, whatever it is, goes here. Next thing you do is multiply. What is -3 times 2? So that goes here. And then you add. What's 7 plus -6? 1. And then you multiply. What's 1 times -3? And then you add. And then you multiply. What's -3 times -3? And then you add. That's your remainder. That's quick, right? Somehow the x's tend to get in the way of our understanding, because we're human, that's okay.
That's amazing.
So this is just a shortcut to be able to do that without any x's.
That's a way just to make sure you're right with the answer.
There you go, or just a way to make sure you're right with the answers. Yes, ma'am.
So you multiply and then
Multiply, put it here, and then add.
How do you write it?
Oh yeah, I'm not done yet. Multiply, put it here, and then add.
okay.
Multiply, put it here, and then add. But before, I'm not done with the answer, I haven't read the answer, but I didn't get to do this this morning, so you guys are going to be lucked out here.
How did you get the 2?
I just dropped it down.
Oh,
You just drop it. First number drop. All right, here it is. Here's the exciting connection, right? This is a -6, am I right? That was a -6. That's a -3, right? This was a -3. And then there was a 9. This was a -9. Oh, you see the connection? You can spend all day proving that if you really wanted to. I don't necessarily care if you know that connection, but I'm just letting you know that that's where it comes from. So it does work.
The coefficients of what you got from long division equal the coefficients in the box
Yes.
of
Yes. Okay, so how do we write this as the answer? So we need to do the p of x equals and so on. So my polynomial was 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5, right? Equals, what was my divisor? My divisor was x plus 3, right? And then the quotient, here's the hint. This is your quotient. Those are the coefficients of your quotient. It started as an x cubed, so now it's going to go down to an x squared. So this now becomes 2x squared plus
How do you know
1x.
that, though? You're just kind of assuming, or?
No, I'm telling you.
But it just is.
Did I say so?
But when we're doing our homework by ourselves and you're not there to tell us, then what?
This, whatever is here will always be the quotient.
But, well, I always know if it started out as an
If it
X.
started as a 4, it's going to go down to a cube.
Okay, that's
Yes.
right.
Sorry, I apologize. I misunderstood the question. I apologize. You're absolutely
Okay.
right. No, you're No, you don't get scratched. No, there really is. It started as a cube, it's going to go down to a square. So can you guys see that what I got is, in fact, the same answer? Ta-da! Woohoo! Exciting, right? Okay, maybe it's not super exciting. Let's do another one. X cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 3. And my d of x is going to be, let's make that x, we'll just do the x minus 3. Make it simple. I don't know why I keep putting those in parentheses. I just feel like it. Okay, so let's do the synthetic division, the same exact idea. What's going to go here? What are my coefficients here?
1, -3, 1, -2.
Kind of boring. Okay. What goes on the outside here?
Positive.
Positive 3, right? Opposite of that divisor. Excellent. And then we do the synthetic division, so let's go for it. Drop it.
1,
Then what?
-9.
positive
3.
Oh,
Where did that 3 come from?
1 times 3,
Multiply here,
that's right.
you put it here. And then I add. What am I going to get?
0,
And then I multiply. What's 3 times 0?
0,
And then I add.
1,
And then I multiply.
3,
3,
And then I add.
0,
Oh, so when my remainder is 0, that's really cool, right? So in this case, I got my remainder of 0. So how do I write out that simplified answer? So this was my original polynomial equals my divisor was the x minus 3. Now what's my quotient?
x squared.
Why is it 1x squared? Because it was a 3, so I'm going to go down to a square. So this becomes 1x squared plus 0x. Do I need to write the 0x?
No.
Plus 1. Questions on that? Synthetic division is a lot better, easier than long division, right? All right, now I gotta use that. It has to be worth our time. It's not all just for fun. It's like as well. So these theorems, remember I gave you guys this last time, this printout of all the chapter 4 theorems that are important to remember. So I'm just talking about the second one now, theorem number 2. So what this is, I know what it is. So if f of x is divided by x minus c, then f of c equals r. And I'm going to leave it as r, but r, you guys know, stands for remainder. Right, you guys know that r stands for remainder. So what that means, let me explain to you what it means. So I'm not asking you to just put flashcards on this and memorize it. I mean, you can. It's probably worth your time. But really, we got to know what it means. What does that represent? If you have f of x is my polynomial function, and I divided it by x minus c, just like I did here. This is my f of x. This was my divided it by x minus c. If I did that, then f of c equals r. So going back to this example that we did before, this example had a remainder of 4, right? And I was dividing it by x plus 3, right? Which meant that in my polynomial function, if I plugged in negative 3, the opposite, right? This was negative c, this is positive c, the opposite. If I plugged in negative 3 into this polynomial, I would get 4. If I plugged in negative 3 into this polynomial, I would get this remainder.
And negative 3 is good.
What is the c value, basically? Yeah. Kind of cool, right? Not necessary all the time. This was really necessary where there wasn't such a thing as calculators, but now this is just kind of a cool trick. And you could do synthetic division to figure out what the function value is. Let me give you an example, another example as to when you would use that. Okay, so let's do this as an example 6. use synthetic division to find f of 4, and if I give you this polynomial function, f of x equals 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus x squared minus 1. And I'm asking you to use synthetic division to find. So if I tell you to use synthetic division and you don't use synthetic division, how many points would you get? Good, you're so good at math. Because I know that you could use your calculator to make this a lot easier, but I'm testing you to understand the remainder theorem. And this remainder theorem says all I have to do is synthetic division, and it's the remainder is the answer. Okay?
Don't you use D?
That's a good question. Don't I need a D? How do I divide? So let me set it up as if I didn't have that D yet. He doesn't have that divisor. So this would just be a 3, a -5, a 1, a 0, and a -1, right? Those coefficients here. So what am I going to put out here? This one's going to be the positive 4. Why does this one not change?
Because it's just gonna stay the same.
It's going to stay the same when it's asking for f of. When it was written like x plus 3 or x minus 4 or something like that, this to here would change. From here to here would change. But from here to here stays the same. From here to here stays the same. Can you guys see that? It's going to take some practice. It's gonna definitely take some.
Why'd you put the 0?
Because I was missing the x term. Had to do descending order of degree.
Okay.
Like how we did, how here I was missing the x and I had to put the 0 in.
Right, but there's 4.
No, there's not. 4, 3, 2, I need a 1 and then 0. It goes down to 0.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all the way down. Okay, let's do the synthetic division. Drop down the 3 and then what? Multiply. What's 4 times 3? Then what?
And
Then what? Then what? Then what? What's 4 times 29? Then add, right? What's 4 times 116? And then I add, and I got 463, right? So what is the answer to the question? So f of 4. Are there questions on that? Yes.
Yeah, well, it's like if f of x is divided by that, isn't every problem divided by it? Which amazing. Does that make sense?
Say that
Might sound
again.
dumb, but like it says for the definition,
Okay.
if f of x
Is
is divided
divided
by x minus c,
Uh-huh.
then
F of C
f
equals
of
R.
c equals r. So aren't we always dividing?
We're using
F of X.
division. We're using, yeah, we are dividing.
Because it says if f of
Yeah.
x is divided every time we're
So we're going to
dividing.
divide it to find it, yeah. This is our dividing. We just didn't have to write out the whole division answer because it didn't actually ask me to divide.
So it's a whole number. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's just you're doing this synthetic division each time. And then the remainder is the answer to that function value. You are dividing every time, that's for sure. Let's